gonna write a blurb. Delightful. Okay, then what happens? So this is the part that I find really tricky, except how do I phrase that? Oh, this is why blurbs are so freaking hard. Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, my name is Ari. I'm an aspiring author and I have a short story published that you could read linked to my website. I'm currently working on a fantasy novel titled Pretend the Earth Doesn't Call, and what we're gonna do today is we're gonna write a blurb. So what is a blurb? It's a short description of your story that you can find on the back of a book. It's also what you'd include in your querying packet when you start querying agents for your particular manuscript. What should a book blurb do? It should grab the reader's attention, it should engage their interest, and it should compel them to pick up that book and to want to read it. And there are so many articles out there that give you advice on how to write a blurb, saying things like, you should align the tone of your book with the tone of your blurb, you should make your opening line count, or, you can do what I did and I go into the depths of Reddit for advice. What all of these advice articles don't do is they don't take you through the process of actually writing a book blurb. And I'm gonna take you with me. We're gonna get into the nitty-gritty details of how I'm gonna write my book blurb, and you can see my process through it. Now, full disclaimer, I cannot promise that this book blurb will be any good, but I'm going to try and I'm going to do my best. And honestly, I mentioned this in previous videos, like I hate writing blurbs. And I think that part of the reason why I hate writing blurbs so much is because they're not your book. What a book blurb is it's a marketing tool. And so it's really hard, especially when you're so close to the story that you're writing. It's so hard to disentangle the elements that are really essential to the story and the elements that will really hook your reader, and really highlight and pinpoint those elements and bring them out into this very short, like below 250 word, 2-paragraph thing. If you have a hard time with book blurbs, you are not alone, because I have had a hard time with them and I've been writing for years. But we're gonna get over our fear and we're gonna do it together. And I really like book blurbs, and I like to write them like each time that I draft, because I think it's like a really succinct way of wrapping my head around a story in this like marketable way. And I thought it would be really good to do for Pretend the Earth Doesn't Call. I have my computer here. I'm gonna go ahead and start working on it with you guys. I'm gonna show you a template that I like to use, and then we're gonna go ahead and go in and start like filling out everything, and then start fine tuning and refining and trying to make it into a book blurb that is like snappy, okay? So let me turn this a little bit. So I have my screen here, and you can see this is my Pretend the Earth Doesn't Call Scrivener document. I actually made like a really beautiful mood board, and I made it the background. So I love my like 2 little quotes that I added to my Scrivener background. It's "Tell the wolves I'm home," which kind of gets cuts off here, and then it's "The wild ones will set you free." So that's very much like the vibe of this book. Okay, so let's go ahead and write down what a blurb should do. A blurb should hook the reader with an attention-grabbing first line. 2, it should tease the initial conflict without giving things away, because you don't want to give too much away that the readers like just lose interest completely. You want to just like tease enough that they'll be like, oh my God, I have to finish this book. Okay, 3, you then want to end on a cliffhanger that makes them want to know more. A template that I really like using is this one. So set up the status quo. So who is the MC? What is their current status? What are their needs right now? What are their struggles? And you're gonna basically like talk about your character and setting, world, and you're just gonna hint at the problem. Okay. Then we need to talk about what the event is that changes the status quo. What is the event that changes the status quo? And talk about like the first chapter or so. Okay. Then lastly, what challenges will the MC have to overcome by the end of the story? And so this is really important, because from my understanding, blurbs really should only cover like the first act of the book, like the first 25% of the book. You really don't want to give any more info than that. And so you really want to leverage all of the beginnings of the book. Like, definitely blurbs are spoiler free. Like, don't put any spoilers in your blurbs, which is why I'm kind of like working on it with you, because there are no spoilers in this blurb. But you really don't want to delve too far into the story, because you don't want to give so much away that the reader then isn't curious about it anymore. So what challenges will the MC have to overcome by the end of the story? It's more so like, why will solving the central conflict or the problem not be that easy? Like, what are gonna be the twists and turns? And you don't have to like explicitly talk about them, but you're gonna wanna allude to them. So you just want to add enough plot to make us think, okay, I want to read this book. So remember, you want to ooh, that's aggressive. I'm not gonna do all camps. You want to introduce the conflict. You don't want to solve it. Okay, so what I'm gonna do right now is I'm basically gonna take my template and I'm going to like list out the very basic things that I know that happen in my plot pretty much. So I know my main character is Perry, and she's a Constellus soldier in the country of Etrium. And she wants to get promoted to commander. And because of this, she does absolutely everything that the Vicar, which is like the second in command in the government, requests. So be that shady or things that she has to like bend over backwards, like whatever it is that she has to do, she'll like go above and beyond to make it happen, because she like desperately wants this promotion. And where it's coming from, she wants power and she wants security. And I don't know if I'm gonna incorporate that into the blurb, but we have that just as a starting point for right now. Now, what event changes the status quo? I'll tell you. Right before she's supposed to get promoted, a blight hits the crops in Etrium. And Etrium is like a land that has been super fertile, and they haven't had many issues with blights or like infertility. They're very stable when it comes to crops, farming. They're very good at that. So it's a land that has previously, been very fertile and dependable. That is not how you spell fertile. And dependable. Okay. And I'm sorry, by the way, like I'm a dark screen girly. Like I have everything dark screen. So if this is like bothering you, I apologize, but like consider dark screen. It's better for your eyes. I spend literally probably 12 plus hours a day staring at a screen. So we got to do whatever we can to make sure that our eyes are taken care of. Okay, so right before she's about to get promoted, a blight hits the crops in Etrium, a land that has previously been very fertile and very dependable. So we kind of talked about this is the event that changes the status quo. So the thing is like, why does that actually even matter to Perry? Actually, we haven't like connected that yet. So Perry is actually the only person with earth magic. So when the land starts going infertile, when the crops and like the earth, there's a blight on the earth. Sorry, I just need like a coffee. Delightful. So she's the only person with earth magic. And so the Vicar is basically like, okay, listen, we need to like prolong your promotion just a little bit because I need you to go and like fix all this, but like don't worry. Right after that, you're gonna get promoted and you're gonna be in this like super cushy position, And so the Vicar basically calls on her to go on a mission, to heal the farms, and to understand where the blight is even coming from. Because everyone is super suspicious that it might not actually be just like a plant disease. They're super suspicious that it actually might have like magical origins. Magical origins, question mark? Okay, so that's basically the status quo, and that's what breaks the status quo. So we have Perry, she's looking for a promotion. She's at the Vicar's call and back. She'll do anything, and she's about to get promoted. She's like so close to her goal, but then there's this blight, and because she's the only one with this particular magic, she needs to go and she needs to fix it. She sets out on this mission without hesitation, and because the Vicar told her to, like, she's gotta. Okay, so then what happens? So we're gonna talk about what challenges will the MC have to overcome by the end of the story then. Why will solving this problem not be that easy? So she sets out on the mission. She realizes that she's not actually as strong as she believes that she is. So she is the only person with earth-wielding magic, and she's basically been training by herself her whole life. So like all of these other Constellar soldiers, they basically have like units, like subdivisions based off of what magical abilities that they have. And the more similar your magic is, the more likely you are to kind of like have a buddy to train with. And so she's kind of been alone, and she's realizing that she has to go and solve this problem to basically stop an entire famine from like wreaking havoc across this entire country. And she realizes that she's actually like not as strong as that she thinks she is, and she's not sure if she can fix this problem. And if she can't fix this problem, then the whole country is going to actually go to ruin. So she's not as strong as she believes she is, and she doesn't know if she can reverse the famine, save the country on her own. Okay, then what happens? Oh, apparently it's not a legit sentence. She doesn't know if she can reverse the famine on her own. But what's our little twist? Like, what happens? So what happens is she meets this mountain woman. Her name is Zim, and she's the first person that Perry has ever met that also has earth magic. And so like the lights ding off in her head is like, oh my God, I finally found somebody who's like me. I found somebody who has a magic like me. And she's also been really worried because she can't necessarily fix this famine on her own. Like maybe her whole promotion and everything she's worked so hard for is going to be all for nothing. Like maybe she won't get the promotion because the country just like falls into famine anyway. She's like, oh my God, this person has earth magic. This person is like me. Maybe they can help me actually fix this problem. So until she meets a strange woman from the mountains, who, by the way, she claims to be sent by a goddess. Her name is Zim, who is the only other person that Perry has ever met who also has earth magic. Let's actually see how many words this is. Okay, so this is 175 words, so it's already long. Okay. So what happens then? We got a duo and they decide to team up. So I'm just gonna write. Again, this is like just a summary. I'm gonna be like super casual with it, and then we're gonna like spruce it up. So this duo decides to team up. Zim will help Perry if Perry will help Zim. Okay, they basically set out on a mission to like heal the land from the famine, and Perry then has to go and help Zim solve this problem that she was sent by this goddess, even though Perry like doesn't really believe that's true. She just thinks she's kind of crazy. So they set out on this mission to heal the land from a devastating famine. If Perry will help Zim figure out why she was sent by the goddess. Okay, so this is the part that I find really tricky. It's like you want to introduce the conflict, but you don't want to solve it. And so I'm just gonna like verbally say what happens. Basically, Zim like agrees to help her, but like Perry has a really hard time learning. And they have a lot of like interpersonal conflict too. So basically like it's not super clear if Perry's gonna learn the skills that she has to in order to heal the country, and it's not sure if this like duo is gonna work out, and it's not super clear if she's gonna save the famine, if she's gonna be able to go back and get promoted, and all of these things. And also, just fair warning, don't put questions in your blurb if you don't need to, especially if you kind of assume you know the answer. Like those aren't relevant or like intriguing questions. But I'm just gonna write a question right here to like help my mind wrap around the idea that I like need to write out. So will Perry be able to learn the magical skills Zim can offer to teach her? Will she be able to get her promotion, or will their differences and histories be too much that neither of them basically do what they need to do? Question mark. We have 260 words, kind of like rambling, like very, you know, not super pretty, anything like that. This is like what the content that I want the blurb to be. So I really like rambling like this, I find it extremely helpful. Like maybe other people just like really like clean drafts, but what I do after this is I take this ramble and I like right underneath it, I'll just like go ahead and then like write a clean blurb, and then we're gonna refine it again. I don't know, maybe you don't like working this way. This is very much how I work. This is kind of a microcosm in how I actually draft my books. This is what I would call like kind of a draft 0, and then like I'll go ahead and I'll write like a real blurb, and that will be draft 1. So let's go ahead and like actually clean this up. Let's make it sound good. Okay, so Perry is a Constellus soldier in the country of Etrium. I want it to sound fancier. She's like top tier soldier. She's like CIA of this fantasy world. So Perry, an elite Constellus soldier, I want to capitalize, Constellus soldier of Etrium. She wants to get promoted to commander. So I'm going to take this line now and just like think about how I want to phrase it. So she wants to get promoted. She's like on the brink of promotion. Like I want that to be like, she's like so close. So I'm going to write, Perry, an elite Constellus soldier of Etrium, is on the brink of a promotion. And I also want to give it like the stakes. Like she's been working on it for so long, for like the past decade. So let's just write that. Is on the brink of a promotion she's been working towards for the past decade. And she wants power and she wants security. And so like maybe I can allude to that as like a position that offers power and protection. And also like, again, like, yes, this is gonna be like a cleaner version, but I'm not putting too much pressure on myself, you know, make it super perfect or anything like that. Like we're just gonna try to get it out there and then we'll clean it up on the next round. Right before she's supposed to get promoted, a blight hits the crops in Etrium, a land that previously has been very fertile. Why this is important is it like threatens her promotion, right? So only her promotion is threatened when a catastrophic blight kills the crops across Etrium, threatening starvation and famine across the country. Right? That's not how you spell threatening. Okay, so let's see if I like this. Perry, an elite Constellus soldier of Etrium, is on the brink of a promotion she's been working towards for the past decade. A position that offers power and protection. Only her promotion is threatened when a catastrophic blight kills the crops across Etrium, threatening starvation and famine across the country. That's good because I do think like there are personal stakes with the promotion bit, but then there's also like larger world stakes where like people are gonna suffer because of this famine. So I think I like that phrasing right now. Yeah, let's move on to this next little paragraph. So Perry is the only person with earth magic. So the Vicar calls on her to go on a mission to heal the farms and to understand where the blight is even coming from. I don't like how this is phrased at all. So we're gonna rephrase. As the only magic wielder with earth magic. I like that because it really shows like how unique she is and why she's specifically important for this call to action. So as the only magic wielder, I don't know if I like magic wielder, as the only earth I think I want to do that. As the only earth magic wielder, Perry is sent to heal the farms and is sent, I don't know if I want to say heal the farms. Perry is sent to keep the country from falling into famine. I like that. From falling into famine. Yeah, okay, I like that because I think it's a combo, right? Like it can be like she's going to heal the farms, but she's also trying to figure out the magical origins of the blight in the first place. And I think, I don't know, like that's a little bit vague, that little sentence here, but maybe I'll revise it in the next round. For now, I think I'm okay with it. Okay, so then let's go on to this next one. She sets out country from falling into famine. She sets out on the mission. Oh. She realizes that she's not as strong as she believes she is. She doesn't know if she can reverse the famine, save the country on her own. So this is very wordy and I don't need all of that information. And I think I can do actually like as the only earth magic wielder, Perry is sent to keep the country from falling into famine, but finds her powers lacking for the disaster she's trying to fight. Perry is sent to keep the country from falling into famine, but finds her powers lacking for the disaster she's trying to fight. I like that. Honestly, like, I feel like this is easier because I'm reading out loud. Like I don't normally read out loud, and I feel like I like this. Like I like reading to you guys. Okay, sorry, maybe like too intimate. Okay, for the disaster that she's trying to fight, until she meets a strange woman from the mountains who claims to be sent by a goddess, Zim. Zim is the person, not the goddess, who is the only other person Perry has ever met with earth magic. As the only earth magic wielder, Perry is sent to keep the country from falling into famine, but finds her powers lacking for the disasters trying to fight. Maybe something like thinking her promotion. I kind of want to add like thinking her promotion will never happen because she's about to fail this mission. And then it's like, except when Perry meets a strange woman from the mountains who is the only other person Perry has ever met who also has earth magic. The duo decides to team up. I don't know, that's like very wordy. Perry is sent to keep the country from falling into famine and finds her powers lacking for the disaster she's trying to fight, thinking her promotion will never happen because she's about to fail this mission. Except when Perry meets a strange woman from the mountains, Zim, I did not put her name, who is the only other person Perry has ever met, the duo decides to team up. I think I actually want to make this another paragraph because you can have a blurb that's like 2 to 4 paragraphs. I generally like blurbs that are 2 paragraphs. The second paragraph is like, oh, there's another person in the mix. Like maybe, ooh, like this will be interesting. I mean, we're gonna edit, we're gonna figure it out. But except when Perry meets a strange woman from the mountain, Zim, who is the only other person Perry has ever met who also has earth magic, the duo decides to team up. I actually like really liked when I was like, Zim will help Perry, Perry will help Zim. So I'm just gonna copy that. Okay. They set out on a mission to heal the land from the devastating, how many times have I said devastating? I don't know if I have, but it feels like a lot. Devastating famine. If Perry can help Zim figure out why Zim was sent by the goddess. And then I really need to figure out like how to highlight like why will solving the problem central conflict not be that easy. Just want to add enough plot to make us think, okay, I want to read this book. There's like not that like little intrigue that I want to add. I'll add like the magical origins bit too, because I think actually this like works out where like they both kind of need to delve into this like magic of like why they're on these missions kind of together. So I think I want to like allude to they're gonna have a hard time interpersonally dealing, but I think they're gonna have a hard time like magically kind of figuring out what's going on. And then on top of it, will Perry get what she wants in the end, or let's think about how to phrase this. Zim will help Perry if Perry will help Zim. They set out on a mission to heal the land from the devastating famine if Perry can help Zim figure out why Zim was sent by the goddess in the first place. Only the 2 women, I think I want to do like only the magical origins of both of their missions. Allude to hidden histories and like conspiracies. Only the magical origins of both of their missions allude to hidden histories and conspiracies that both women will need to work together to overcome. Except, I think I want it to be like, except like, will they ever kind of like stop thinking of one another as the enemy? Because like there is very much like an oil and water vibe between Zim and Perry. So I kind of want to like highlight that, like, will they be able to like work together to then like solve these problems in addition to just like the problems actually being complicated as is? Except how do I phrase that? Oh, this is why blurbs are so freaking hard. It's okay, we can do it. We can do it. We're almost there. We're so close. Let's reread the whole thing. Maybe it'll come to me after I reread it. Peri, an elite Constella soldier of Etrium, is on the brink of a promotion she's been working towards for the past decade, a position that offers power and protection. Only her promotion is threatened when a catastrophic blight kills the crops across Etrium, threatening starvation and famine across the country. This is repetitive. I'm gonna get rid of that. Only her promotion is threatened when a catastrophic blight kills the crops, threatening starvation and famine across the country. As the only earth magic wielder, Peri is sent to keep the country from falling into famine, but finds her powers lacking for the disaster she's trying to fight, thinking her promotion, I don't like this phrasing, but we can fix it. No, maybe we'll fix it now. Finds her powers lacking for the disaster she's trying to fight, and hopeless that she'll get promoted because of this failed mission. I like that better. Okay, let's read that again. As the only earth magic wielder, Peri is sent to keep the country from falling into famine, but finds her powers lacking for the disaster she's trying to fight, and hopeless that she'll get no, that's not right. And hopeless that she won't. She'll lose her promotion because of this failed mission. Except when Peri meets a strange woman from the mountains, Zeem, who is the only other person Peri has ever met who also has earth magic, the duo decides to team up. Zeem will help Peri if Peri will help Zeem. They set out on a mission to heal the land from the devastating famine if Peri can help Zeem figure out why Zeem was sent by the goddess in the first place. There's like a lot of names here and I want to fix that. They set out on a mission to heal the land from the devastating famine while trying to figure out why Zeem was sent by the goddess. While trying to figure out why Zeem was sent by the goddess in the first place, but I kind of want to say like to try to figure out the problem Zeem was trying to, that she was sent for. I don't know if that made it like any sense. That was gibberish. I'm so sorry. Okay, I don't know. I think I'll leave this for right now. They set out on a mission to heal the land from the devastating famine while trying to figure out why Zeem was sent by the goddess in the first place. Only the magical origins of both of their missions allude to hidden histories and conspiracies that both women will need to work together to overcome. Except, I think I want to make it like if they could ever agree on anything. Kind of make it like playful a little bit, you know, kind of allude to that oil and water interaction that they have between the two of them. So only the magical origins of both of their missions allude to hidden histories and conspiracies that both women will need to work together to overcome if they can ever agree on anything. I kind of like this. I'm gonna do a quick reread. Okay, I think I'm gonna let it sit, but I think that this is the blurb. And I feel okay with it. Again, like I think that if I was going to send this book out for querying, like I would take multiple rounds to revise this blurb, but I think as just like a baseline blurb for where the book is at right now, like I kind of like this blurb. I'm gonna leave it there. I might go in like a couple days and like tweak. So we just wrote a book blurb together and I hope it was helpful. I hope it was helpful to kind of see how I went from like template, what we need, to just like word like blabbering and just like word vomit on the page, to then like making it more clear and concise so that like this is the blurb. That was like actually less painful than I thought it would be. I feel like that's always how it goes. What I'm going to do is I'm going to get some feedback on this blurb, hear what some other people have to say about it, and see if anything is unclear, if I could like beef some things up. If you guys would be so kind, like please give me advice down below of how you think I could beef up this blurb. This is just the process of how I usually go about writing blurbs. Yeah, this is the blurb for Pretend the Earth Doesn't Call. Oh, by the way, it is Thursday, July 25th. I didn't say that. So we still have several days. Like we wrote this blurb, we're gonna start reverse outlining before August, and then we're gonna start start drafting in August. So I always really like having a blurb. I was like considering writing a synopsis, but I feel like it's just gonna take the wind out of my sails for when I actually have to like first draft. So I'm not gonna do that, but I like having a blurb. So I'm gonna get some feedback on this. Let me know if this was helpful for you to actually like see how my brain was like processing how to actually like go ahead and write this. And I think I'm gonna do something similar for reverse outlining. Like I might take you through my process of reverse outlining like very similarly to this. So yeah, please let me know if you find this helpful. And as always, please like and subscribe. It really helps me out and it really helps my channel out. And I'll see you in the next video. And thank you so much for joining me on this book blurb writing journey.